about three months ago and so on, and they were asking a question, and I thought, let me quickly document something, but I never got to the point to actually release it. So I gave it to Alex this morning. He says, just make it sexy. So I put some pictures here of a female lady, and that's sexy now. So this is it. This is a document. So if you guys read through it, it'll give you more or less an idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do similar. So what I try to do with the document is to explain each menu item into a little bit of detail, what it's for and what it achieves. But to start off is financials. I sometimes start at the wrong place. So I'm going to try something different today. What I normally start is with balance sheets and income statements and so on. And I see I lose a lot of people because I get too technical or too accounting wise. I'm not an accountant of trade. I just learned accounting as from a point of sale point of view to post to the right places and holes and so on. So I'm going to start off basically in a supermarket scenario. So basically in a supermarket scenario, you got different levels of cash up or cashiers. And that's basically what I draw here. Is the first level is going to be the customer the cashier that serves the customer. So that's the one that rings up, scans the items, rings up, and then take money. So she starts the morning with a float and she ends the afternoon with a whole bunch of cash in the drawer. During the day, if it's a good day, then they'll do certain pickups or drop-offs or so on, different ways of doing that to get money out of the till to the back office or to the back level. So in our case, we call it the level 2. So this is basically the cashier that serves the customer. Will then take that money if she's got too much, or at the end of the day when she does a pickup, will then take it to the level 2 cashier. The level 2 cashier will then count the money that the cashier has got, and then she'll have a whole stack of money at the end of the day, and she has to get cashed up to make sure that the money she took from the first level cashier, she's got it right, and that's normally the supervisor or the owner of the business or the person looking after the cash. And then that money then gets dropped either in two places, one for the cash and transit CIT people to come and fetch the money. So it's like a drop safe or a depositor or one of those machines. Or they're going to leave it inside the store in a safe for a cash float for tomorrow. For instance, let's say they got big account payments to do and so on. They will keep money aside. Let's say they got salaries to pay or whatever. They'll keep money inside the store to pay out those monies. So I'm actually going to start from this level. I'm not sure, Kinloch, if the cash up opening tills and so on was discussed at all. So I'm going to take it as no and just give it a bit of a heads up.
Rian, you're 100%. We haven't covered the opening floats and the opening balances of the tills yet in the technical demonstration.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we got two modules. So if I just quickly jump to a menu, if I find the menu. So basically we got the general ledger, which is the one we're actually going to discuss, and we got the cash office. So at the moment you open up the cash office, you'll get prompted by a screen like this to say, welcome. And now this is only if you're a cash back officer, level 2. If you're this person that's in the second level, that's the type of person that will go into the cash office. The cashier is not going to go here. That's a person that generates keys, and I'll discuss keys now. So that's a person that will open up cash office, and then once she opens cash office, it will greet them and say, we're opening your cash office. So what the system is saying is that I'm aware that you're going to touch the cash. So whatever you touch with the cash, I want to cash you up this afternoon. So the moment you log in here, the system will know I have to cash that person up. So at the end of the day, you have to close all these people that log into the cash office to make sure that all their cash balances. So you're going to get greeted by that screen. And then, yeah, I'm just discussing, and that's just for the manual to go through. That's basically the setup that gets done on the cash office. So you'll create the users. That's a cash offer user, the management till basically. It's a higher level user. So as you go through the manual, you'll see, and then this is where you can create and set up users. I'm not going to go too much detail there. You can read through it and then create users and set them up basically. So for example, all the people that's a cash up user will then get a till number. You'll see the till numbers. In this case, we normally start with a 9, different number range to the normal caches, which we start with a number 1. Okay, and then this will have float and so on if you carry that, and then the system will just show you for every day basically the cash up. Okay, but I'm not going to go too much detail that you can pick up there. This is basically different reports that you can run in the cash office. Also try it, play with it, see there's different ways of doing a report. But the cash offer side, this is the most important one. And I'm going to jump here. So basically, if I stay in this menu, let me go to cash offers. I've got a site open. Yeah. So here's a typical site. It's one of our customers. So if I go to these menus, you'll see the first menu. That's what I normally call the first level of caches. So that's the caches serving customers. This is the second level, and that's where the money gets consolidated and worked. And then this is where you actually close off the day. So the other two, this is the setup, and that was purely a report that you can run from it. So let me start here. The moment you log into the cash office, you get greeted by that screen, meaning that you now this level, you're a management tool. So you'll go into management tool and you'll see the people that's opened up, and the moment they log in, they get given a cash up number. That cash up number has to get closed at the end of the day for the day to finish. Okay, but that's enough said on this one now. So let's start here on the cash user. So the first thing in the mornings when people arrive, you'll give them a cash up key. Now, how Genesis work is, and it's configurable. So if it's a small store with 1 or 2 users, you won't even bother with a cash office. But the moment you got 8 tills, or you got shifts, or you got multiple people coming in and out, closing tills, moving on and so on, then we control a key. So we don't control the till. We can, but in this case, we won't control the till on a user. So you won't have a Sarah until 1 and a Anna until 2 and a Joseph until 3. You're going to have a key. So the moment the person walks into the store, he greets, he logs in and so on, then you print out a key. So the key, if I go into the screen, the key is like this. It's a hidden key. And then we issue a key. So the moment we issue a key to the person, that key is then tied to a cash up number. And at the end of the day, I want to cash up this cash up number with that key. That key is like a secret code. So basically what this key does is, if they go to a till point, they'll all log in with the same user. Now in our standard is we use a user called T for Tommy. So you go T, username, password T, then the system immediately prompts you for a key. And then they got this piece of paper that's only got a barcode. They would then scan this barcode, and then they'll take this key and they'll put it somewhere safe in their wallets or hidden somewhere in the pocket and so on. That key is then tied to that drawer, the money that's in the drawer. So let's say, for instance, it's tea time and she wants to go to the toilet or whatever. Then they go Control L and they lock their till, so nobody else can serve any customers in the till. That cash drawer can't open up. Then she can go to the toilet or she can go for lunch. And once she's done, she can come back and she can unlock with a key again and she can carry on serving customers. That's the one scenario. The other scenario is where a store has got, one of our big stores, they've got up to 80 till points, and they'll have 90 caches. So the caches will rotate. So they'll always fill up from till 1 to till 80 as people arrive. So as a person going to T, the person coming back from T will then go sit on that seat. So during the day, you'll sit at 7, 8 different till points. But that key is stuck to your cash drawer. So the moment they want to go into T, they'll put their hand up, the supervisor will send a security guard will take out the money, they'll seal the money, she goes away, and once she comes back with a key, the security guard will bring her drawer, put it back in, and then they can carry on trading. So basically, the crux of the matter is that we use this cash up number to catch up at the end of the day. So once we're done, we will cash up all these caches, these numbers at the end of the day. So if I go back here, this is where we issue the key. Now the same goes with a supervisor. Everybody knows if I go to a spa or one of these stores that they call supervisor for this, supervisor for that, and then eventually all the caches start learning the supervisor's username and supervisor's password. So in this case, we can issue a key in the morning, and we can issue this key during the day, 7 or 3 or 5 times, as many as you like. The same goes with the key here on the cashier. If a cashier goes to the bathroom and she loses a key, she can come back and you can reprint the key for her, which will be completely different to the previous key. So if somebody else picks up that previous key, it's null and void once the second key has been created. So this supervisor key is basically, if they call a supervisor, she's going to bring that barcode and they're going to scan it, and then they can serve customers again from there on. So there's a print on this till slip. It prints a barcode, and then only got a plastic tag that hangs around the neck, and they can just slip it in there, and it stays safe there for the day. Then the second thing here that's important is basically this cash drop. So cash drop is 2 different ways. We've got some tills I'm not sure if you saw the cash guard, which swallows money at the till point. It's like a safeguard. So we got some furniture customer where the cashier would normally take like a 10 or a 15 or 20,000 rand. So instead of putting it into a drawer, they got an actual safe that opens up and it swallows the money. So it's basically a cash drop, and then the system will then print out a slip to verify the money she's dropped, because she can't access that money ever again. And once they get to the back office, they can verify these keys, but that's more in detail if you need that customer. So basically during the day, you can come to this top screen and you can see how the tills are performing. So if I stretch this a bit, this is the amount of tills that's open at the moment. So we got different color codings. We got, if it's like a pinkish color, it means there's a set limit on the till. And once I reach a set limit, in this case, it looks like a 10,000 rand. So once I reach a 10,000 rand, it actually sends a message to the cashier to say, hey, you're over your limit. If it's yellow, then it means that the back office, this lady, the person that logged in here, can actually call the cashier and tell her to stop trading and come back to the back office and drop her money, because they're having too much money in the drawer. Grey colors mean it's not, the till is not in open for the day. If it's a yellow color like this, it's locked. So this lady is on tea at the moment. Well, she hasn't played it much. This one, same story here. So in default, most of our tills starts off in a lock mode, waiting for the unlock key to be scanned. So basically what happened is they gave her an unlock key, but she never made it to be a cashier for the day. She probably ended up packing shelves. And then once the till is finished, so let's say the lady is done with her shift, and she comes in and she closes the till, then it'll go into green. I'll show you now where you close the till. So here we can actually see all the activity that happened. So if I go to this cashier here, she took 65,000. We already done a pickup of 63,000. That's a value that's supposed to be in a till, and that's a cash. And then the rest would be a voucher or something else. So if I stretch it, that's just the cash up number. So let me go into this one. If I double click it, okay. So here I can see that money, there's a 15 rand credit card that's just taken. They picked up 63,700. That's cash left, and that's the credit card still left, and they're using the total left in the drawer. So that's basically what we need to pick up, what we're expecting at the end of the day when we do a pickup. So basically, a pickup can happen either at the till point, or if the lady comes into the back office, they normally got like a serving window where they serve the cashiers through, and then they can capture a pickup. So they can actually go in here and then they can capture what they picked up for that cashier. I'm not going to save it, otherwise we'll screw up today. So the other option is that you can actually call the cashier. So if the money is too much, you can click here and that'll call the cashier on a till point. Between every sale, it'll pop up a screen to say, please go and drop money at the cash office. Then the rest of these buttons will just show any activity that happened on the till. So you can see all the sales. If we go in there, I can see all the documents that she's done. Here's payments, DEB, PMT is data payment. POS, ASL, account sales. POS, CSH is cash sales. These numbers you'll get familiar with and learn yourself over the time. So she's only served so many cash sales, but the account sales are a bit bigger part of the two. So, okay, so there's enough information just on this. If you're then at the end of the day, let's say it's day's finish or anytime, let's say the shop trades till about 4, 5, 6. From about 4 o'clock, the cash is going to start cashing up. So you'll go into this screen here, you'll see the cashiers. If a lady comes in, she's going to count the money. The pickup is going to, so they can either do a pickup, not here. So the pickups has to happen in the top screen that we were. So once they've done the pickup, the system will say if she balances or if she's short. So it will always show short now because the pickup is still expected for these people. At the moment they picked up, it will say short or over. And once you, like this one here is over, with the pickup, once you're done and you're satisfied, this is not the make all or be all, it's just that the cashier, the supervisor on the floor is happy, the person taking the money, that the cashiers are more or less right, and then they can click on this button and they can actually close the till. Once the till closes, the color is going to change to a gray, and this entire screen must be basically gray by the time you go home. It must look like this gray color. Okay. Now the cashiers are done, the cashiers are all went home. You can actually now close the shop, go home, and enjoy the evening. And then the next day, that back office can catch up the previous day. So they don't have to do this part that same evening. They can come back the next morning. And that's what happened with most of these big stores. 80 plus still points, it's too big for them to still do consolidation, cash up the same day. So they normally run a day behind, and then they got proper strong rooms to manage with the cash that stayed behind for the day. But I just came into this is now the second level. That's the lady that cashes up the cashes. That's the person that sits in the strong room that you knock on the door and she's got a buzzer on the inside to open up the door. That's typical that scenario. So there could be so many people in that office. All these are actually at work. So they opened like I did now when I logged in. I get given a number. This is a supervisor and this is two people handling cash. So at the moment, if I go into any of them, they haven't done any pickup. So if they go to the cash, so they pick up, oh yeah, here's one. So this lady is, so this is money that she's picked up, and this is money she's got in a drawer, checks and stuff. I don't know what they use checks for. Some people use checks for different reasons, if it's a manual credit card or the actual integrated credit card. I think in their case, they use it. This credit card is the normal integrated credit card, and this one is the manual credit card. They're in the vouchers. So this is a store that handles vouchers. They're in a spaza environment in a township. So they got a lot of people bringing cash as in silver, as in 1 and 2 rand coins. They drop it through a machine. The machine will then count a note and then spit out a voucher, and then they can use that voucher to go buy stock with. Okay, so what I want to show you guys here is basically this person, Grace, has to get picked up at the end of the day to make sure that she balances. And then that money that gets picked up can either then be dropped into this depositor, the safe for the G4S, or G4S can come during the day and collect the money. So in the case, if they come and collect money, we got different ways of paying out. So this store has got an ATM machine connected to the store, and we'll get to more detail there. So a normal general payout is, we prefer that you can do payouts from a till point. So anybody can go to a till point and then do a payout at the till. So for instance, you want to go buy KFC, the boss is having something over and he wants to buy KFC, he goes to the till point and says, give me 200 bucks. The cashier opens up, gives him 200 bucks. He walks to KFC, he buys Kentucky, sends a guy, comes back, and the guy brings a slip and a change. They drop the change back into the till drawer, and she keeps a slip. Then she captures that slip as a payout from the till point. So that is, I call it bad management, because it opens you up for quite unexpected, risky behavior, because not always the slips get home, or people get into a habit to see that you put your hand in the till and pull money out, which is not a good sign. So I prefer the money first come back to the back office, and here the money is properly controlled, and there's less eyes seeing what's happening with the cash. So here's one of the things you can do with general payout. So general payout is, I've got a set reasons, and you can add onto those reasons. So you got advertising, telephone, or petrol for generator, fuel, gas, whatever, if it's expenses and so on. So you can add onto this list as you wish. I saw these like toll fees and stuff. So you can add onto it if you've got temporary guys helping. You can add on to these reasons. These reasons, if I'm not mistaken, can be connected to a GL account. Cool. Okay. Then here we'll put the reasoning to say, what did I choose? COVID. No, that's a bad example. So if I use, let's say, fuel, I can say generator, pay to engine, generator, and then you can say it was 100 bucks. Okay, you can put the slip number in, and then you can save it. So here's an example. They replenish the ATM, basically they're using the same. They choose the ATM, so they're putting money into the ATM for the day. I'm just going to close it. I don't want to post anything. The second option here is when you pay a supplier. So this is neat. You always got an Albany or somebody that comes into the store, they drop off bread and they expect payments. So then you'll go in here, you'll find Albany, for instance. There we go. Put in the date, you capture the invoice number, and you put in the amount. And you will then post the payment, and this payment will immediately go onto the creditor statement and will show on the payment. Yeah, so if you need to allocate it to your invoice, remember the invoice in this case is not captured, but the payment's captured. So once the back office then captures the invoice, then they can allocate the payment to that invoice. The second one here that's important is a debtor refund. So let's say, for instance, you do business with a school, for instance. The school then contact the business, they will ask for a quotation. The quotation works out to 10,000 Rand. The school deposits 10,000 Rand into an account. They arrive, they buy the stock, and now because of there's a flavor shortage or whatever, you don't buy the full 10,000 Rand, and there's you buy for 8,900 bucks, and you have to refund cash that was deposited. So then they will come in here, you'll choose a school, and you'll put in the document number, for instance, the amount. Normally they've got a document number of a booklet that they use where they refund and who the manager was, and you can post the refund and it will show on that account. Second, another one is with the ATM. So replenish, that's putting money into the ATM. Cash replenishment, that's if they put money into one of these cash draws. So let's say you got a till point that does all returns. So if a person bought something and it's broken, they bring it back and they want a refund, not a swap out, they will go to the refund till point, give the stock, and then they'll receive cash. But now for that till to have cash, the back office was supposed to give it cash, and then that cashier would then be cashed up and see how much cash is still left and how much slips they generated. So this is basically all the types of payouts that happens from the cash office. Yeah, I think you can just view what happened so far, and it goes to this is deposit. So this is a bank deposit. So if you're in a mall and you go into the bank and you physically go deposit money at an ATM, you can use that one. Not sure, ATM balance returns, not sure, card banking by device. So not sure, I think we use this bank deposit for G4S. Yeah, I'm right. Okay, so this is money. Bank coins. So that's basically they got a depositor, and every time they drop coins into the depositor, they will capture this. The machine will spit out a slip number. They will then capture the slip number, not the type like this one. You'll capture it and then it's basically stored on the system. It's part of your banking. We'll get back to it later. And then here's credit card recon. So we integrated credit card and terminals can be reconciled here. Then I've got a end of day. So you guys can stop me if there's any questions, eh? I'll just carry on rolling. So this one.
Sorry, just to confirm, can anybody hear Rian clearly? And is everybody following? Alex, Samantha, Leandi?
Following, thank you.
Callisto, are you here? Are you following?
Yeah, sure.
Thank
Following.
you.
Thank you.
So far, so good.
Okay. So this is basically where you cash up the end of the day. So I'm going to go back to, so this drop down will show you all the days it's still open. So these guys are trailing like a week or 10 days behind. Hey, the boss mustn't find out. But anyway, so I'll go to the 20th. If you want to move a day forward or backwards, you can use this in all our screens. You can have a control left, control right to go the previous day or the next day. So I'll go control left. It will be a Sunday. These guys are trade on a Sunday. I'll do another day. Now you'll see the day is closed. So this is a Saturday. The day actually cashed up. This screen is extremely complicated in the beginning, and even for me that only see this once a year, it's very confusing. Okay, but in principle it's quite simple, and these buttons will also help you draw in. But that for people that does a cash up, you'll have one or two people in the store that will get so familiar with this that they understand this thing like the Bible. So this is the tender.
Excuse me, can I interject?
Yeah.
What are the implications if someone processes transactions without running day end? For example, today is the 29th, but I forgot to run the day end yesterday. Where will those transactions be, and will the system allow us to process?
Okay, so the system will allow you to process as long as your tills are closed. So the next day you want to open a till, it's going to say, sorry, you can't, the till is already open. So you have to close the till, and then once the till is closed, you can open it again and trade, because we work in the cash up number. So this entire thing, for instance, you can see when last did they actually close the day. The last day they closed was the 18th. 19th, it was a Sunday, so the Monday is still open. So they normally trail, and this is now, I'm talking about the accounting side of it's normally the accounting lady that gets involved into this level, basically, if it makes sense. So now she's got the bank statement, and she sees that the money actually came in and went out and so on. So they normally run a few days behind. So the system is not dependent on the cash offers to be closed for you to trade the next day, if it helps. But this is, if you go here, we'll definitely have to assist you and help you, because it's simple, but it looks complicated. And I'll go through it quickly now. So the different caches, when they complete the sale, they press F10 to complete the sale. Then a tender summary screen pops up. Now the tender summary screen normally got this, and the last few buttons are configurable. So you can say what the description is. We got it in the system as tender 1, tender 2, tender 3, tender 4, and 5, something like that. But the first few ones were fixed. In the old days, we still had checks. So there, in this case, is the cashier would say it's cash, or it's a credit card, or it's a voucher, for instance. Now, the vouchers in their case works, you have to scan it. So you'll hardly have a mistake between voucher and voucher on this side and that side. And the difference is here's where you tell the computer what you're doing. So I've accepted cash, or I've accepted credit card. This side is what you actually physically picked up and you physically counted. Now, what you'll see immediately is that they said that they got 491 cash, but they actually only picked up 440 cash. They said credit cards was 40,000, but it's actually 90,000. So somebody is clicking on the cash and swiping a manual credit card, for instance, but it actually ends up to be a credit card as well. And this is now where you can do corrections. So this day is closed. I'm not sure if it's going to allow me. It does. Okay. So you can move. If I take a 1 rand from here, I can minus 1 rand there and add a 1 rand there. As long as this thing balances to a 0, then the system will allow me to save it. So if I take a 1 rand there, and I need to take it away in this side. So you'll see it's supposed to show me somewhere that I'm out. Okay, it shows me my 1 rand out. So now I'm going to put a 1 rand here and it'll balance this. But I don't want to screw around with these guys now. You can allocate, in the moment it goes green, it means I'm still tying up to the total that I had, and I can save the allocation. It's purely when, cashiers does make the mistake where they say it's cash, but it's actually credit card or check or something else, or the EFT and so on. That's to rectify that from a high level. Okay, so this is what the system tells me we took. Okay, this is payouts that was made at till points. In this case, they don't do any till payouts, but if let's say one of the tills gave 1,000 rand out, it will show the 1,000 rand here. This is your normal rounding, your cents rounding. Then this will give me the total of the system. And then if there's a difference, this difference get calculated between this amount here. No, I'm lying. Between the net pickups and total tender. So total tender is this amount here, and the net pickups there. Plus this 41 rand, which is this amount here. Okay, so these two, if these two amounts balances, it will show me a difference of 0. This piece at the bottom is only if you got vouchers. And that's if there's any overs and unders. So this is more or less a day that balances. Okay, so now that aside, and I'll go further in some other screens. And I don't expect you to go, this is very complicated if I go further now, once I go in there, but stick here for now. So the opening float, you'll see 376 to 80. If I go to the previous day, so I go to the 17th, it'll be this figure here at the bottom. The system recalculates, so that figure there, the closing float, if I go back to the 18th, that 376 would then become 376, the opening float. So whatever I'm left the one day, it will carry over to the next day. So I open up the day with 376 in the business. I picked up out of this, and this is total credit cards, vouchers, everything. I picked up 385. Okay, I banked so much money. We'll get to that now. So what's left in my store is this much. Okay, take away stuff that's not cash. So it's credit cards and vouchers. It's 97. So I'm left with this amount of cash. Okay. Then I leave a closing float, and I think the difference here, which is about 30 odd bucks, is probably somewhere here. But now this is confusing because now you start bringing ATMs in, so there could be money stuck in the ATM and so on. But the system will keep tabs of it in its balancing. And this thing you can print out. I think it's just a slip, so I won't print now. Let me see. It will capture basically the screen. I think it prints out in a slip, so it won't show on my screen. Okay. To view what was picked up and so on, this button will open up these amounts. There's a bit of a filter problem. So if you look at this now, if I sort it here and I move this one side, you'll see my management payouts of 3,000 Rand. So management payout is, I think it's some here, PCP. I think the next one is the management replenishment. That's at 45,000. This guy here. Then I got a 179, which is ATM. So it's all these ATM ones. Bank deposit 376. That one doesn't show on the screen. So basically, we need to work on the filters. We only show that amount and not being confusing as it is. To make a note of this. So this will basically, as they captured during the day, it will show you what was captured and so on. And then this is basically where the money that they banked. Remember, the banking is you do it here basically, deposit bank. So that'll bring up here that what happened for that day. So this gives you basically the cash up for the entire store. So if I go here to the next one, the second tab will show me how this will post to the GL basically. So if I click on that, it'll show me there was data payments. The data payments is this amount total including. It's going to post to the 4,000, which is debtors control account. Transfer also to debtors control account. So this is ART as POS, ART account returns, ASL account sales, CSH cash sales, cash returns, and then the vouchers will go to a clearing account. So these are the amounts, they're excluding, including what's the VAT portion, and if it was exempt from VAT. So you got more or less an idea how it's going to post to the GL. We will get to the GL legs just now. Okay, this tender summary, so that is basically what the Genesis tells you that the cash is taken for the day. So for instance, this cash took 66 in cash, 4 in credit cards and vouchers. That's what the system expects from it. Now that's still 109. So now we go to pickups. If I go to till 109, this is what we picked up during the day. So just to do a test here, I got 66,400 expected in cash. What I picked up was 58. But now I see here's amount here as well. So maybe they're adding these to the checks. So they're using checks. Maybe if it's a, I don't know, there's so many payment terms lately. It's business to business and so on. But they're capturing different tender types. So credit cards, if I look at credit cards, she's got 422,176. That's probably integrated 422,176. Vouchers 132,1310. 1310. Okay, cool. So this cash just got split up between these two. And then the system will then tell me, I'm not sure here. Right, okay, cool. So this is basically the pickups and the different pickups we can see. Okay. The second one is that back of, remember the second layer, I told you there's people that's here on the screen. When this grays get picked up, you'll see they picked up their pickup sitting here in cash office pickups. And that'll show that full total 440.91 that gets pulled through to this 440.91 that gets pulled through here, comes from this consolidated figure. Okay, so this, and then there's, if I go into the cashier, for instance, if I go to till 109 and I'm disputing or things are not looking right, then you can start drilling down. So now you can start going into the cashier. You can start seeing what you took for the day. Now we can start seeing what the activities that they did. So we can see the different payments and sales that was happening on this cashier. And if I query amount or amount that's missing, you can pick it up here basically. So that in a nutshell basically gives me the cash office or the cash up side of the business. So once you cashed up, once it's closed, then it's ready to go to the ledger. So I think for the amount of detail, not to flood you guys and not to give you too much information, this is more or less the cash office. And this gives you a feeling of what the cash office does. So if I go to a day that's open, that's a Sunday. Okay, so here's a Monday. So this one looks like it's already balancing. 432. I'm just going to go to the next day. 433. So this one's still out by 97 Rand. So they must investigate why, see why, what count up, balance out, whatever, and then until their balance is still this off. Okay, this one's balancing. So if you run that proper cash office, you'll see there's rebalancing as well. Move 24. Okay, 24. Balancing 26 Sunday, Monday. It's balancing. Okay, this is today. So today they're still short. Okay, so that gives you more or less the cash office. And if you guys got any questions, I want to step then off the cash office. This is, as I said, and I said it a few times now, this is overwhelming. This is a lot of information, but once you start with a shop and you follow the process and the flow, then it will actually tie up and pick up and catch up. Any questions on this? Once you balance, all you have to do is you click this one button that says close day. It is possible to close a day if you're not balancing, but it will then take that amount that's not balancing and put it through on the ledger to a different GL account. Okay, I'm going to close this off.